Chapter 12. Before the bluing sun could utter a word, I picked myself up and ran away from Will Jr. and the falling down house. I ran past Lester Swan, where he sat with his feet on the astroturf, and past Bobby in her gum bubble. Up the steps and into the bus, I ran straight past Fish, where he sat hunkered and grumpy in the front seat. I didn't stop until I'd pressed myself underneath the cot in the back of the bus, pushing in next to Samson, who moved over without a question or a word, as though he'd been expecting me. I plugged up my ears with my fingers. I squeezed my eyes shut, and I began to hum. It was no good. I could still hear them all. As Lester and Bobby climbed back onto the bus, wondering what was wrong with me, I could hear Carlene and Rhonda, and the little angel with the pointed devil's tail, all there inside my head. But now I could hear a new voice, too. The voice of the smiling blue sun, gaining volume like a deep-toned bell, as Will Jr. climbed up onto the bus. A secret for a secret. Will has a secret. Want to know the secret? Not knowing what else to do, I shouted, "You have to wash your hand, Will Jr." Though it sounded stupid, even to me, as my voice echoed through the quiet bus, over the din of voices in my head. I didn't want to know Will's secret. I didn't want to know things I wasn't supposed to know. "Mibbs, are you okay?" Will called out to me, as he made his way down the aisle of the bus, the voice of the noisy blue sunshine growing louder and louder as he got closer. "Will's got a secret." "Don't come near me!" I shouted back at him. Fish, seeing me upset and not bothering to find out what might have happened, closed in on Will Jr. and spun him around, clocking him hard and fast in the eye with his fist. Will took the blow, stumbling backward along the aisle of the bus, and Bobby joined the scuffle, climbing over the seats and throwing herself at Fish, scratching his cheek with her fingernails. Ignoring Bobby and scrambling after Will Jr., Fish demanded, "What did you do to my sister? What did you do to her?" "Will's got a secret. Want to know the secret?" "Wash your hand, Will Jr.!" I screamed again, raising my voice to be heard over the brawl and over the sound of breaking glass, as my brother's pressure system grew. The windows closest to Fish began to fracture, spreading, splintering cracks outward like spiderwebs, zipping and pinging through the glass, as Fish's gusts and gales swelled in speed and strength. Bobby screamed and Lester cried out as first one and then another window shattered outward, ducking and dancing and wincing and flinching with every new explosion of glass. Lester grabbed both boys by their collars and pushed and pulled and dragged them off his bus, with Bobby following after. A secret for a secret for a secret. Quieter now, but still that ink-doodle sun yammered in my brain. I scrambled from beneath the cot and peered out of the nearest broken window. "Please, Will, just go wash that ink off your hand," I shouted, knowing he couldn't understand. Now outside the bus, Fish's wind blew out across the parking lot and through the trees around the church. A dark storm cloud was forming overhead, and a smattering of rain began to pelt the ground. It was a good thing we weren't too close to any large bodies of water, or that storm over B could have been one to rival Fish's worst. Crunching on the broken glass that lay scattered across the parking lot, Fish suddenly stopped struggling against Lester Swan and looked up at my face in the window. He looked at me screaming and plugging my ears, and at the tears dripping like the kitchen tap down my cheeks. My words finally hit him, and he listened. Fish twisted sharply from me to Will Jr., as though suddenly adding 2 and 2 and getting 27, even though most people could only get 4. Storm subsiding, he grabbed Will by the wrist to behold the drawing of the sun, inked in blue on his palm. My brother took one last look up from that simple doodle to my sorry self framed inside the broken window. Then, understanding that my upset must have something to do with the unexpected things that happen when a Beaumont turns 13, Fish did what he had to do. Still holding tight to Fish's wrist. Still holding tight to Will's wrist. Fish worked his mouth for one long second, then spat a big, thick wad of juicy spit right into Will Jr.'s hand. "Ew, man!" Will hollered out in disgust. "That's just foul!" Will tried to pull his hand away, but Fish held on tight, smearing the spit in and around to mix the ink, until there was nothing left but a great messy smudge, resembling nothing much more than a big blue-black bruise that was already forming than the big blue-black bruise that was already forming around Will Jr.'s eye, where Fish had popped him a shiner. "Let go already!" Will demanded, pommeling at Fish with his free fist. With Fish's spit, the new voice in my head gurgled and gargled and sputtered and spluttered until Secret turned into Sluckbret, and Sluckbret turned into Sluppet, and Sluppet slipped away like water down a drain, leaving Will Jr.'s secret safe, and only 3 voices remaining in my head. Lester Swan was doing his best to keep the boys apart, and Bobby off his back, skating and sliding on the broken glass. As soon as Fish saw the muscles in my face relax, and my shoulders drop back down to where they normally rested, as soon as he saw the relief in my eyes, my brother backed off, pulling free from Lester's grip, stepping out of the way of Will's fists. Fish may not have known precisely why he had needed to get that ink doodle off Will Jr.'s hand, but he'd known it was important to me, and I was grateful. Sometimes it was good to have older brothers. Looking grossed out and suspicious, Will Jr. wiped his wet and sullied hand on his trousers. His shirt had become completely untucked, and his hair was wild and unruly above his blackening eye. I realized I was still holding tight to that fine and fancy silver pen that Will had given me. It felt heavy in my hand, like it was made of lead. I replaced the cap on the writing end and slipped the pen into one of the deep pockets in my skirt. I left the box and the other pen back at the falling down house, and I was worn out and tired. I didn't think I liked being a teenager all that much. As the last ray of sun surrendered to the deep blue of evening, I sank to the floor of the bus, trying again not to think and not to listen. "What's Lester gotten himself into this time?" muttered Carleen behind my eyeballs, and Rhonda answered with a cluck of her tongue. "The usual trouble, of course. The usual trouble." Sorry for stumbling over a lot of this. It's actually funny. I'm skip back a few pages because it felt like a tongue twister to me almost. It's like, where was it? Will demanded, pummeling at Fish with his free fist. With Fish's spit, the new voice in my head gurgled and gargled and sputtered and spluttered, and it's like a Dr. Seuss book. So I'm sorry for stumbling over that. Yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this chapter. I'll be coming out with more as soon as I can.